my name is Jeff Ham, and um, for my this midterm project, something I wanted to kind of dive into and kind of talk a little bit more about that has really helped me in this class, and I thought something was really interesting was the cognitive dissonance theory. So let's just dive right into it. Most of my some of the research that we've had is based on Leon Festinger's research, but I'll dive into it a little bit more. So, have you ever felt internally conflicted? I mean, if you ever felt like, you know, one thing's against another, or you just in your mind you feel like you need to do something, but you have this feeling of an opposing force that keeps you from doing it. Well, most people have, and I'm going to explain what it is and why it happens. So, we got that. So the opposite of what I want to talk about, what I want to go into real quick, is the consistency theory, which is basically the opposite. And this is what we're trying to achieve. So the cognitive consistency theory is when that person's thoughts, beliefs, knowledges, opinions, attitudes, behaviors, they all align and none of them contradict each other. All of them work perfect together, and you don't have any of those contradictory thoughts or beliefs that go against what you're thinking. And it's not uncomfortable for you in any way. So the opposite to that, flipping the scale a little bit with my little rocks, we have what's called the dissonance theory, which I wanted to get into more. So this is what we call that feeling of being like internally conflicted. Cognitive dissonance refers to a situation involving conflicting attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors. This produces a feeling of mental discomfort, and it leads to an alteration of one of the attitudes or beliefs or behaviors to reduce that discomfort and restore that balance. So, in other words, when we have those imbalances or contradictory beliefs, we literally feel discomfort, like physical and mental discomfort, and we will do a lot of different things to establish consistency again, to establish comfort, and to feel comfortable. So a good example of that is a smoker. So imagine somebody who smokes a pack a day and they are a health nut. Let's say they just love to work out and they're great. They smoke and they know that smoking causes cancer and they're a health nut. Those are two contradictory, completely polar opposite things. And for them, that causes extreme amount of dissonance. And that, for them, that that causes an issue. Excuse me. Another example that I'd like to kind of go into a little bit. Let's say Jane. Let's say Jane is a member of the LDS faith. She drinks quite a bit. She drinks alcohol, and that's one of the things that's contrary to her beliefs. And because her actions aren't in line with her beliefs, this causes that psychological discomfort. And that discomfort is that cognitive dissonance. So for Jane to resolve this uncomfortable cognitive imbalance in her brain, she would need to either modify those beliefs or those behaviors so that they'd balance out and that she could eliminate that discomfort, that cognitive dissonance that she's feeling. So I'm kind of a visual guy, and so I like to show, be able to see these different theories and examples of them so that it kind of helps me understand a little bit more. So this is a clip out of one of my favorite movies, The Matrix. We can get it to load here. All right. Here we go. That was taking longer than I'd like. Come on. I don't even want to try to open this full screen. There we go. I think. Alright, I'm not sure what the heck is going on here. It's working. What's going on with my Wi-Fi? There we go. We're almost there. Sorry, hang in there with me. But anyway, in this video, you'll show that he has this contradictory feeling of what he thinks is real and what someone's telling him is real and what he knows is right. So if we can get this to go, this wasn't happening before. Anyway, it looks like we're going to have to skip the video. But both of these videos are super awesome. So this one, I didn't know what just happened here. This first one right here, this cognitive dissonance example, excuse me, is, like I said, it's from the Matrix, and it shows him saying, basically describing to him what the Matrix is. And he says, no, it can't be, and that's not what it is. And he said, well, yeah, this is what the Matrix is used for. It's used to control people and turn them into energy, basically. And he says, well, I don't agree with that. So the part that he was acting and doing was contradictory to what he had believed. This example 2 part right here is another great example, or little short clip video if you want to dive into that. It's a video of Benjamin Franklin, and there's this guy that hates him. This guy absolutely hates Benjamin Franklin and says, I hate you. And Benjamin Franklin says, well, I'm not really sure why you hate me, but that's all right. And he says, well, hey, would you mind if I borrowed a book from you? And the guy that hates Benjamin Franklin's like, what the heck? Why is it? I hate this guy. Why is he trying to borrow a book from me? He says, well, okay, I'll just lend him this book. And he says, you know, I don't even know why I really don't like this guy. You know, and his brain starts to contradict, or his actions of giving and being nice to Benjamin Franklin were contradictory to what he believed. And that caused that dissonance, and they actually ended up being really good friends. So anyway, those are 2 really good videos. If you got an extra minute, check those out, and it'll help you understand just a little bit more what that is as well. And so this diagram is super awesome, and the next few slides I'm going to go into will kind of go over this. So this inconsistency comes, or it comes from this discomfort comes from that inconsistency of the beliefs and the behaviors mixing together. So the way that the way that we can do these things and help feel better and reduce that dissonance is through these 4 things. Change the behavior, so change what you're doing. Change your belief or what you're thinking. Add a belief, which is also very different. Add in something completely different that will help you, feel better about either what you're doing or believing, or ignore it completely. So that first one I wanted to talk about has several cool parts. Kendra Cherry kind of helped us in her article explain some really cool stuff about this piece. Number 1 says focus on more supportive beliefs that outweigh the dissonant belief or behavior. 2, reduce the importance of the conflicting belief. So not feel, try to make it not as big as what you once thought of it. Or change the conflicting beliefs so that it's consistent with the other beliefs or behaviors. If you're concerned, this is another good example. So if you're concerned about the pollution in your city and you realize that your smart car, or someone tells you that your smart car actually causes more pollution than you thought it did, you could look online and look up things about your car, and people, your smart car, your Prius, it actually is a lot, maybe it's not good for the environment, but it's sure a heck of a lot better than gas cars, and so that would also support your beliefs or what you're feeling, and that would help you feel better about what you're doing in the car you're driving. So this one, reducing the importance of the conflicting belief. An example, another that she used, that Cherry used in her article, was about this man who he's worried about his health because all he does is sit all day long at work. That's all he does, just sit in an office all day long, just sitting there and doing nothing. So he felt like his health was in danger because all he did was sit. But in order to deal with that, what he could do is say, well, maybe I do sit down quite a bit and I don't really do much, but I do work out, quite a bit, and I eat really well, and so maybe that will make up for all the time I sit around doing nothing. So that's him changing his thoughts, and to deal with that discomfort he felt of sitting all day. Changing the conflicting beliefs so it is consistent with the other beliefs or behaviors. So this is probably, in my opinion, the hardest to achieve, because the belief itself is something that I think is really ingrained into who you are as a person. It's like our example with Jane. If she had decided, you know what, I no longer believe in the LDS religion, which would be really hard for her, that she would be fine with drinking because it would no longer be part of her standards or what she believes she should or shouldn't do. So that would take away that psychological discomfort. These were some awesome examples that I found reading through a lot of different sources that I was able to find, and this is just a portion of everything that I've learned and everything I've read about this piece. But really, I really thought this was a good thing to dive into, because it really is something that we deal with every single day and with every single thing. And so I really thought it was interesting reading about it and learning more about it. So thanks for listening. I'm sure that there's a lot I could improve on, and if there is some stuff that you'd like to throw in there for comments or for advice on anything, I'd sure appreciate it. So